All right, let's dive deep, way, way down into the ocean's twilight zone. Today, we are talking about one of the most famous and maybe most misunderstood creatures of the abyss, the anglerfish. This isn't just about a scary monster with a built-in nightlight. No, this is a story about survival, adaptation, and pure evolutionary genius. Let's get into it.
So when I say the word anglerfish, what's the first image that pops into your head? I'm guessing it's something straight out of a horror movie, right? A floating, monstrous head with a glowing lure and a mouth just full of needle-sharp teeth. And yeah, that's part of it. But that's just one chapter in a much bigger and honestly far weirder story.
Because that one single monstrous image, it just doesn't do justice to the incredible variety we see in this group. So today, we're going to shatter that image and get to know the entire wonderfully bizarre family of anglerfish.
Scientifically, all anglerfish belong to an order called Lophiiformes. Think of this as their big family name. And it all comes down to how they hunt. You know, like a human angler uses a fishing rod and a lure, well, these fish do the exact same thing. And it's that one shared trait that unites this whole incredibly diverse group.
So just how diverse are we talking? Get this, there are over 300 known species of anglerfish. That's right, over 300. And they're not just in the deep sea. They've figured out how to survive everywhere, from the crushing blackness of the abyss all the way up to sunny, shallow coral reefs.
And this is where you really see the family's range. The Ceratioidae are sea devils. Those are the deep-sea celebrities you're probably thinking of. But then you have the frogfish, who are absolute masters of disguise. You've got monkfish, which you might have even seen on a restaurant menu. And then things get truly strange with sea toads and the completely alien-looking batfish. It is a family tree just packed with surprises.
Okay, let's start with their most famous feature, the one that literally gives them their name. We're talking about that built-in fishing rod. It is a truly remarkable piece of evolutionary engineering, perfected over millions of years.
So how does this thing actually work? Well, the rod itself is called the elysium. It's actually a modified spine from its dorsal fin. And at the very tip, you have this fleshy bait-like bulb called the esca. Elysium and esca, rod and lure. Together, they make one of the most clever hunting tools in the entire animal kingdom.
Now, down in the deep sea, this whole setup gets even cooler. The esca isn't just a piece of flesh, it's a living lantern. It's packed with millions of symbiotic bacteria that create their own light. That's called bioluminescence. In the absolute pitch-black darkness of the deep ocean, that glowing lure is like a neon sign for a free meal that prey just can't resist.
This whole hunting strategy is a masterclass in conserving energy. The lure just glows, dangling right there in front of the anglerfish's face. Some curious little fish thinks it's found a snack and swims in for a closer look. And in less than a blink of an eye, bam! The anglerfish's huge jaws fly open, creating a powerful vacuum that just sucks the prey in whole. It's a brutally efficient ambush.
And here's where you really see how adaptable this family is. Down in the deep, the black sea devil absolutely needs that bioluminescent lure to cut through the darkness. But up in the sunny shallows, the striated frogfish uses a totally different tactic. Its esca doesn't glow. Instead, it's a fleshy mimic that looks exactly like a wriggling worm or a tiny shrimp. It's the same basic tool, evolved for two completely different worlds, but with the same deadly result.
So, if you thought the glowing lure was strange, you might want to buckle up. We're about to get into the anglerfish's second game-changing adaptation, a reproductive strategy so bizarre, it basically rewrites the rules of romance. Welcome to the ultimate deep-sea blind date.
Yeah, this phrase pretty much nails it. Think about it. In the huge, dark, empty space of the deep ocean, just finding a mate is a massive challenge. So the anglerfish came up with a solution, a form of codependency that is, well, extreme, but also incredibly effective.
To get this, you first have to understand the mind-blowing difference between the sexes. The female is the big, powerful predator we all picture. The male, on the other hand, he's tiny. A tiny fraction of her size. We're talking up to 40 times smaller. He's not built to hunt. His entire existence is a single-minded mission to find a female. That's it. That's his whole life.
So, this is how this sexual parasitism plays out. The tiny male uses his amazing sense of smell to follow the female's pheromone trail through the endless dark. When he finally finds her, he bites down, and he never ever lets go. Then the really wild transformation starts. He releases an enzyme that literally melts his mouth and her skin together until they are permanently fused. Their circulatory systems connect,
His own organs, his eyes, his stomach, they just wither away until he becomes essentially a permanently attached sperm factory, living off her blood.
And it's not always a one-on-one relationship. A single female can end up carrying more than 5 of these males, each one fused to her body for life. To us, it sounds grotesque, but in the massive empty deep sea, it's a brilliant, foolproof solution to the problem of finding a mate.
Okay, so while the deep-sea anglers have some of the most shocking adaptations, their cousins in the shallow water are just as impressive. Many members of the Lophiiformes family have perfected a totally different survival skill, the art of camouflage. They are absolute masters of not being seen.
Take the monkfish, for example. It's a classic ambush hunter on the seafloor. It just buries its flat body in the sand, and these little leafy flaps of skin around its head blend in perfectly with seaweed and debris. To any fish swimming overhead, the monkfish is completely invisible.
Then you have the frogfish. These guys are the chameleons of the ocean. Their lumpy, colorful skin lets them perfectly mimic a rock, a sea sponge, or a piece of coral. They can just sit out in plain sight in a busy coral reef, patiently waiting for the next meal to swim right up to them.
And then there's the red-lipped batfish. This creature just seems to break all the rules. It uses its fins to walk along the ocean floor, and while its body is camouflaged, it has this shockingly bright red mouth. Scientists are still not entirely sure why, but it's a perfect example of the incredible, and sometimes just plain weird, diversity in the anglerfish family.
And that brings us full circle, back to our friend in the deep sea. Even its skin is an incredible adaptation. It's not just black, scientists call it ultra-black. It can absorb over 99.5% of light that hits it. This isn't just about hiding, it's about making sure it doesn't reflect any stray light from other glowing creatures. It becomes a true black hole in the darkness, completely invisible, until it decides to turn on its light.
So, after all that, the clever lures, the bizarre romance, the amazing disguises, what are the big takeaways? Let's boil it all down to the 5 key strategies that have made the anglerfish such an evolutionary success story.
Okay, number 1, the specialized lure. It's a super efficient, low-energy way to hunt. Number 2, the ambush strategy. Why waste energy chasing food when you can make it come to you? Number 3, an expandable body. With a huge mouth and stretchy stomach, they can eat things even bigger than they are. Number 4, that extreme sexual parasitism. Weird, yes, but a brilliant solution for finding a mate. And finally, number 5, unmatched diversity. The ability to adapt and conquer every habitat, from the abyss to the reef.
So we started this journey with a single, scary picture, but what we've actually found is a sprawling, diverse family of over 300 different species. The anglerfish isn't just one thing. It's a living, breathing masterclass in evolution, proof of nature's incredible power to solve the toughest challenges on the planet. And that leaves us with one last incredible thought. We've explored less than 5% of our own planet's oceans. If the anglerfish is what we've already found in that tiny little slice, just imagine what else is down there. In that vast, unexplored darkness, what other evolutionary marvels are just waiting for us to find them?